gentleman from Kansas, Mr. Estes, is recognized to speak on the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Advances in modern medicine are saving people's lives every day throughout the United States. Treatments that were not available just a few years ago give new hope to patients who are sick and dying from various diseases. That's why it's important that we make sure that the United States continues to lead the world in medical research and development. It's also important that we make sure that life-saving prescriptions are available to all Americans. I believe that we don't have to sacrifice more cures for lower costs, which is why I've consistently rejected the partisan H.R. 3 bill that Speaker Pelosi has continued to try to resurrect in the House, and it's now inserted into this bloated tax and spend bill. The components of H.R. 3 would lead to more government control over our health care while reducing cures for patients. This one-size-fits-all approach is not the right answer and stifles our long history of medical life-saving advances through innovation. When the Bipartisan Congressional Budget Office reviewed H.R. 3, it listed the following outcomes that would occur should this bill be signed into law. Manufacturers will possibly pull their drugs entirely out of the United States market if the government take it or leave it amount is insufficient. Manufacturers will potentially list higher prices to start with, or manufacturers will likely decrease their spending in research and development by up to $1 trillion, jeopardizing new cures and innovative drugs that will save lives. The negative implications of these H.R. 3 provisions can't be overstated. Consider that in 2017 alone, the private biopharmaceutical industry invested $97 billion in R&D. That's roughly 3 times the entire NIH budget for that same year, which was $32.6 billion. Clearly, a cut in R&D development and investment is an amount greater than the current spending would be a massive blow to medical innovation, which we take for granted every day. Additionally, Kansans in rural parts of Kansas could be impacted even harder. Consider that between 2011 and 2018, there were 270 new medicines that launched globally. American patients had access to 100% of those drugs, while patients in the next closest country, Germany, only had access to 67% of those. If the United States is lowered to only 67% access to new drugs, there's no doubt rural areas will be impacted even harder, as new drugs will first become available in urban centers like Boston, New York, Chicago, and LA. We all agree that we need to do more to lower the total out-of-pocket costs of health care, including the cost of prescription drugs. We even had a bipartisan bill passed out of another committee just a few years ago, yet my colleagues on the left continue to fall back to H.R. 3 as a way to gain more control over the health care of Americans. Bigger government, higher taxes, and fewer cures is no way to reduce health care costs for all Americans. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.